Metiria Turei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. My question is to the Acting Minister of Energy and Resources and asks, what emergency response, safety and environmental protection provisions, if any, were included in the permit granted to Anadarko Petroleum Corporation to undertake deepwater oil exploration and drilling in the Canterbury Basin?
The Honourable Heke Parata.
Tēnā koe, Mr. Speaker. Under the permit granted to it, Anadarko may drill one exploratory well. Before it does so, however, it must develop a discharge management plan which must be approved by the Director of Maritime New Zealand.
Metiria Turei.
Who will have responsibility for containment and clean-up if there is a catastrophic oil leak in the exploratory well, the well that Anadarko plans to drill in waters 1,500 metres deep off the Canterbury coast? Who will have responsibility for containment and clean-up?
The Honourable Heke Parata.
Mr. Speaker, Maritime New Zealand.
Metiria Turei.
Supplementary. Will the government require a substantial bond from Anadarko as an insurance against the possibility of a catastrophic oil leak which would cost New Zealand taxpayers billions of dollars to clean up?
The Honourable Heke Parata.
Mr. Speaker, were Anadarko to drill an exploratory well, it must provide a discharge management plan to Maritime New Zealand. That is the process the government observes.
Point of order.
Point of order, Metiria Turei.
Sir, my question wasn't about a discharge permit. It was specific and clear. Will the government require a substantial bond to cover the financial liability?
I think the member may raise a fair point. It was a straight question, and I think does deserve answer. Would the government require a bond? I think it's within the ministers. I mean, it may not be appropriate to answer, but it was a straight question. The Honourable Heke Parata.
Mr. Speaker, under the process of the stage that Anadarko is at, were it to drill an exploratory well, it must prepare a discharge management plan. It does not include a bond.
Metiria Turei.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So then, what guarantee can the Minister give to New Zealanders that they won't have to foot the bill of a catastrophic leak, given that Anadarko is currently contesting financial liability for the 80-day leak in the Gulf of Mexico?
The Honourable Heke Parata.
Mr. Speaker, there are a number of containment strategies that are overseen by Maritime New Zealand, and I have rehearsed in the House the maritime pollution strategy that is applies in this area.
Metiria Turei.
No guarantee. What difference is there between the exploratory well in the Gulf of Mexico at 1,500 metres deep and the proposed exploratory well in the Canterbury Basin at 1,500 metres deep that gives the government confidence that a similar catastrophic leak could be quickly contained?
The Honourable Heke
Mr.
Parata.
Speaker, the latter hasn't been drilled yet.
Te Reo Flavel.
Tēnā koe, Mr. Speaker. To the Minister, is the Minister supportive of the Māori Party's private members' bill to ensure meaningful and effective consultation and ongoing engagement with whānau, hapua and iwi from any person or group seeking a permit under the Crown Minerals Act? And if not, what is the nature of the consultation and ongoing engagement that has taken place between Anadarko Petroleum and Ngaitahu in the Canterbury Basin?
The Honourable Heke Parata.
Mr. Speaker, I am absolutely committed to meaningful engagement, and I don't think legislation is required for that. As to the second part of the question, the member would need to ask the parties involved.
Metiria Turei.
Given the Minister's confidence in Anadarko Corporation, what is her response to their statement in their 2010 annual report that it may be difficult for them to quickly or effectively execute any contingency plans related to future events similar to the Gulf oil spill?
The Honourable Heke Parata.
Mr. Speaker, I don't have responsibility for Anadarko's annual report.
Point of order, Metiria Turei.
The question was about her responsibility as a minister and providing certainty or an assurance to New Zealanders about the expected what might happen or contingency plan if there is an oil spill. I think it is within her responsibility to give a more reasonable response than that.
Order. Point of order is being considered. The problem was the member's question went on further than that and talked about, I believe, their annual report or some document similar. And the Minister focused on that part in her answer. If the member had just asked the first part of the question, we might have been able to pin the Minister down more.
Point of order.
Point of order, Metiria Turei.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. I seek leave to table page 30 from the Anadarko 2010 annual report, which states that it would be difficult for them to quickly or effectively execute any contingency plans related to events similar to the Gulf oil spill.
Order.
And
Leave us sought to table that document. Is there any objection? Order. Is there any objection? There is no objection.
Thank you, sir.
Question number 3, Simon Bridges.
Thank you, Mr Speaker.